Chapter 259. The Phoenix and the White Tiger were entangled in a fierce struggle, each determined to prove their superiority. The Phoenix repeatedly let out loud cries of frustration, expressing its dissatisfaction, believing that the White Tiger was utterly obnoxious for constantly provoking it. Eventually, the Phoenix, burning with rage, decided it would have to settle this once and for all with this insolent tiger. The Phoenix exclaimed that it was unbelievable that the divine tree would even consider accepting such a foolish subordinate. Hearing these words, the White Tiger also became enraged. The idea that someone would dare to insult him by denigrating his master was unforgivable. The White Tiger immediately retorted with a long, furious outburst. "Everyone will die! Everyone will die! Everyone will die!" while simultaneously gathering a brilliant ball of spiritual energy in its mouth. This was the prelude to a new combo attack the White Tiger was preparing. However, Xiao Lam suddenly appeared and delivered a powerful punch right into the White Tiger's mouth, telling him to shut up. The White Tiger, stunned and in pain, nearly burst into tears and immediately ceased its attack. It turned out that Xiao Lam had noticed that the White Tiger's actions were becoming increasingly sluggish and were veering off in an unintended direction, so he wrote Aki to intervene promptly. They had come to recruit the Phoenix, who, as it turned out, was not yet a member of Misty Mountain. The previous time it had joined forces to attack the Dark King was purely for its own survival. Xiao Lam apologized to the Phoenix and explained that the tiger meant no hostility. He simply could only utter one phrase, "Everyone will die," and nothing else. Damn it, who assigned this White Tiger to a diplomatic mission anyway? Even though the Phoenix's eyes were still blazing, its anger subsided somewhat after Xiao Lam's apology, but it remained wary. The Phoenix asked, "If you're not here to wage war, then what? Don't forget, when fighting against the darkness, I helped you." Aki then responded, "I know, that's why this time, we're here to invite you." Xiao Lam, arms crossed and speaking with sincere words, continued, "Join Misty Mountain." The Phoenix fell silent, staring straight into Xiao Lam's eyes, searching for any hidden motive behind his words. On the moon, Laurel was urgently calling out to his master, informing the divine tree that Xiao Lam had just sent good news, the successful persuasion of the Fire Phoenix to join Misty Mountain. Upon hearing this, the divine tree was startled, almost thinking it had misheard. Had one of the legendary sacred beasts really agreed to join Misty Mountain? Reflecting on it, the divine tree recalled that this phoenix seemed to evolve from a vulture or something. Could it be a mutated form? Laurel also mentioned that they were already on their way. Indeed, the phoenix had joined Misty Mountain and secured a place in the team sent to establish a presence on the moon. The Legion of Apes, known for their dexterity and extraordinary strength, were the top priority. The phoenix, with its sharp eyes, observed the leader of the apes. It immediately recognized that beneath the ape leader's seemingly frail appearance lay a terrifyingly powerful source of spiritual energy, completely different from the outward impression it gave. In fact, the entire Misty Mountain seemed to be a camp of the strong. Suddenly, the space around them began to tear open, shocking the phoenix. "Can space really be torn apart?" it stammered, as this scene overturned everything it knew. A space opening up, within another space? Noticing the phoenix's alarm, the ape leader explained that this was the gateway to heaven, and their master was waiting for them on the other side. The phoenix fell silent, deciding that although it had once been a ruler in its own right, it was clear that no matter how highly it regarded Misty Mountain, it still wasn't enough. Whatever anyone said, it would follow suit. Ching Chong stood on a high ledge, organizing the mutated beasts into a formation. The path was narrow, so they needed to line up and proceed in an orderly manner. At that moment, they noticed something unexpected on the moon, a vast ocean with crystal-clear water, as blue as the oceans on Earth. The simulation was surprisingly accurate. It turned out that the divine tree had used water extracted from melting ice in a frigid space to create this ocean. Who knows how much ice the divine tree needed? Yet, despite this effort, the divine tree still felt that this ocean seemed somewhat artificial. The vegetation also withered quickly, requiring a constant supply of spiritual energy to maintain its vitality. Lost in deep thought, the divine tree was suddenly startled by a loud howl. It came from a spatial rift, and the first creature to eagerly leap out was the mutated phoenix, followed by the massive ape legion, demon bulls, ice dragons, Ching-Chong, and even crocodiles. Everyone had arrived. From this location, Earth was visible in the distance, and for Ching-Chong, it was the first time witnessing such a scene. He couldn't help but be amazed. The divine tree announced, "I've used my spiritual energy to seal the entire moon. Therefore, oxygen can still be sustained on this planet, though it's quite thin. But with your strength, you should be able to survive here for a few days even without oxygen, right?" The divine tree then turned its gaze to the fiery red bird and asked, "Are you the phoenix?" The phoenix remained silent and bowed its head. Although it was a fearsome beast, ranked second on the continent, it dared not show any arrogance in front of someone who had slain the Dark King. The divine tree remarked, "I didn't expect you to join us." The phoenix finally spoke, "I've only just joined, and I didn't expect you to have grown even stronger since last time." Inwardly, the phoenix was in awe, feeling that the divine tree was becoming more like a god than a typical mutated tree. The overwhelming aura and the vast gap in power between it and the divine tree were terrifying, commanding both fear and respect. The divine tree immediately glanced at the phoenix's status information. Transcendent Phoenix, Level 4. Bloodline. Phoenix bloodline, an ancient and mysterious lineage, the true king of all birds. Talent, immortal life, energy feathers, each feather seemingly alive, capable of splitting millions of times, transforming into feather swords. Special traits. Feather sword, each feather as sharp as a sword, able to cut through anything. Immersed in fire, after using the energy of the feathers to transform into fire, capable of neutralizing any attack. Protective light, the body can transform into countless feathers, resisting any external attacks. The divine tree's eyes gleamed brightly as he realized that yet another precious treasure had appeared among his ranks. This bird was truly deserving of the title King of Birds, as its attributes were in no way inferior to those of the nine-tailed fox. Without hesitation, the divine tree immediately granted the phoenix a residence in the dark space and simultaneously entrusted him with command over the Sky Clan Legion. Hearing this, the phoenix's heart was moved. He hadn't expected that after just one meeting, the divine tree would place such direct trust and responsibility in him. With nothing more to say, the phoenix immediately bowed deeply in a gesture of respect and declared, "In this lifetime, I vow to fight only for the divine tree." Faced with such a solemn gesture of reverence and loyalty, the divine tree couldn't help but feel slightly embarrassed. It was clear that this bird was far more noble than his old subordinates, but only time would tell what the phoenix could truly accomplish. Unlike his old followers, who had proven themselves through actions rather than words, this new recruit would need to demonstrate his worth. A few days passed, and the divine tree hadn't assigned any specific tasks yet, wanting his subordinates to first familiarize themselves with their new surroundings and take some time to rest. The lake in this area had been named the Evolution Lake, its surface shimmering with a soothing green hue, and the air around it carried a sweet fragrance, as if thousands of candy drops had been dissolved in the water. The phoenix couldn't resist diving in for a bath. Damn, he was already addicted. This water didn't just heal wounds. It directly strengthened the bones and improved the physical condition of any mutated beast that touched it. It truly was a divine substance. Within just a few days, a strange city began to emerge. Each building resembled a fortress. The divine tree asked Ching-Chong what he was up to, and it turned out that he was creating structures similar to those on Misty Mountain. However, the ground here was harder and more barren, so it would take more time. Yet, with Ching-Chong's current skills, he could build these structures whenever he wished. He then bowed, presenting his creation to the divine tree and naming the dark city Divine Bamboo Flower. The divine tree was speechless. The name sounded ridiculous, and he didn't like it one bit. He ordered Ching-Chong to remove the useless nameplate immediately. Ching-Chong was a bit surprised and disappointed, not expecting the divine tree to be so hard to please when it came to aesthetics and language, especially considering how much praise he had received at Misty Mountain. The divine tree returned to his place and resumed another task. Although he didn't directly engage in any specific activities, there were countless things that needed his attention. The divine tree carefully raised two fruits, one of darkness and one of light. The value of these fruits was immeasurable. They were the culmination of the divine tree's cultivation of the attributes of darkness and light. These fruits could significantly enhance one's talents, directly converting them into life essence for any being that consumed them. So far, every creature that had ingested an elemental fruit quickly rose to the level of a transcendent master, as seen with Ching Chong and the ice dragon. But now the question was, to whom should he give these fruits? After pondering for a long time, the divine tree finally identified the two most suitable candidates. End of chapter 259.